One night, this woman Kate, she's driving down the highway when boom, her car runs out of gas. So she pulls over on the side of the road in this shady part of town and she has no money for gas. She doesn't know what she's gonna do. But then this homeless man sees her, this guy, who we'll call Beardy. So Beardy approaches her and he doesn't really have much, but he offers her his last $20 so that he can get her some gas and she can get home safely. And then Kate does get home safely and she tells her boyfriend what happened. Her boyfriend is this guy Mark. So the next day, Kate and Mark go back and they find Beardy and they repay him by bringing him food and some clothing. But then Kate and Mark get this idea, an idea that'll change their lives forever. They go and they set up a GoFundMe campaign for Beardy so that they can set up a trust for him and get him a home. And on this GoFundMe campaign, they tell the story of how Beardy had helped Kate with his last $20. Then the local news picks up the story starts to go viral, and the GoFundMe campaign blows up. And people love it, and they're moved, and they start donating like crazy. And suddenly Kate and Mark and Beardy, they're all doing interviews. And pretty soon, the GoFundMe campaign that they had started raises $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, eventually $400,000. So then Kate and Mark buy an RV for Beardy to move into, and they park it on their property where they live. All this is really turning out to be an incredible feel-good story. Until months go by, and one day a reporter at a local news station gets a tip, and the tip says that Beardy is back living on the streets again. So she goes to interview him, and she's like, "Where's all that money you made from the GoFundMe?" And Beardy's like, "I never really got it." So immediately, several high-profile attorneys in the area, they see this. So they reach out to him to help him figure out what happened to that $400,000 in GoFundMe money. And then he goes on record and says Kate and Mark only gave him about $75,000. And he says the rest of the money Kate and Mark had been using for personal expenses. They bought a new BMW, luxury vacations, handbags, spending it at casinos, and immediately everyone sees this and they're like, yeah, I believe it. Because Kate and Mark had been flaunting some of it on social media. Pictures of them going to Vegas, going to LA, going to the Grand Canyon, taking a helicopter ride. So Beardy and his lawyer file a lawsuit suing Kate and Mark for the rest of his money. So Kate and Mark see this and they immediately go into damage control. They go on a little press tour, they assure everyone like, oh, this is all just a big misunderstanding.
Have you spent $1 of that $400,000 on yourselves?
No.
But then, after he had time to really investigate this, Beardy's lawyer comes out and gives a statement, and he drops a bomb. He says that in his investigation, he found that all the rest of that GoFundMe money is gone. And that is when the county prosecutor gets involved, because now you have a crime on your hands. So really quickly, police get a search warrant and they search Kate and Mark's home and they seize a bunch of their devices. And instead of sticking together, Kate and Mark start pointing fingers at each other. And Kate decides that she's secretly gonna record Mark so that she can blame all this on him. And in this recording, he ends up outlining the whole crime.
You know how much money you spent? Oh, just off the top of my head?